Wall Street is buzzing again, and two of the most dominant tech stocks in the world are flashing signals that you can't ignore. While headlines, focus on AI breakthroughs, trade war twists, and billion dollars of AI investments, the real story is unfolding in the charts. In this video, I'll review to you two AI giants, or some of the top two AI stocks that you definitely want to put in your watch list as we head into the second half of 2025. And these two AI giants are making some serious moves right now. I'll be sharing views on those developments in these two stocks that could lead to massive opportunities as we head into the next few years. So stay with me all the way to the end because I'm going to look through some of the articles, right, and pull out some of the reasons why you want to consider these stocks. And later we'll jump into the charts, right, of both of these two AI stocks one by one, all right, looking at it from the lens of my one good trend strategy and see if there are any bullish or bearish signals coming out, right? Could there be more upside? What are some of the new targets where I could head to? Let's go. So the very first stock I'd like to share with you today, and that would be Nvidia. The stock code is NVDA, one of the most popular AI stocks that all of us know about, right? And what has been happening for Nvidia over the past few weeks? Essentially, right, if you don't know what Nvidia does, it produces what we call the graphic processing unit, the GPU units that many of its clients like Meta, Microsoft, Amazon needs, right, to go into the AI, right, to build their AI data server. So there's strong demands for Nvidia's GPU units, whereby many of these customers are spending billions of dollars, for their AI centers. And in the last quarter, its revenue grew by 69% year on year. There are nearly 100 Nvidia-powered AI factories right now, more than doubled just a year ago. So let's take a look at some of the news on Nvidia right now. You can see that a few days back, Nvidia has announced deals with firms in the UK, all right, as the government looks to bulk up the country's capabilities in AI. So it's making deals with countries as well in the UK, and of course, Nvidia has roles as well based on this news. So with Nvidia support, the UK is building sovereign compute infrastructure and investing in AI as well. So to support the UK government's goals of training AI developers, right, Nvidia plans to set up a new Nvidia AI Technology Center in the UK. So we'll provide like hands-on training in AI, data science, and all that. So Nvidia have seen witness, somewhere around like February, March, when there was some trade tensions between US and China. All right, there's some export restrictions of Nvidia chips to China. This is where it started to sell off a little bit. There is what we call de-escalation between the trade tensions in the US and China. So they are now meeting in London, right, US and China's official, to kind of like strike a deal whether to reduce the tariffs or to maintain it at a lower level. So all this is building up a lot of positive momentum because now both countries are taking a less aggressive approach, right? Rather than when Donald Trump introduced the tariffs in April, it was like a tit for tat war. It became like 145% or even 125% tariffs, right? But now it's all brought down, and there's still ongoing discussions. So that's kind of like helped Nvidia to push up over the past few weeks. So let's take a look at this news, right? Nvidia, AMD, and other chip stock rise on hope China export restrictions could ease. Semiconductor stocks rose on Monday as a White House official indicated restriction on the chip exports to China could be lessened as a result of these trade talks that are ongoing in London. So it's still ongoing, all right? They're still in discussion, and they're also discussing the release of rare earth minerals to the US as well, and also the expansion of Chinese access to Americans made semiconductor or even the GPU units that Nvidia produces. So that's a good thing for Nvidia. And now let's take a look at what it looks like on Nvidia charts from my one good trend strategy. Let's go. So here is Nvidia, NVDA, on the charts right now, trading at about $142. So very strong reversal, I would say, since like, February and March. We were, somewhere around the 150, 140. We sold off all the way to around $90 to $100. And we saw a very strong rebound since April after the Trump introduced tariffs, right? We saw a very good rebound, all right, as trade tensions ease off, right? The ongoing discussion, and we rebounded from 100 to 110 all the way to $142 right now. So pretty strong recovery, all right. But let's see if there could be more upside. What is some of the resistance level whereby we may start to see selling again? So what we can do right now is that I can turn on what we call the one good trend pro indicator that is based off my one good trend strategy, whereby in a matter of seconds for any stocks, any asset classes. Of course, we're talking about Nvidia right now, but you can just turn it on and take a look if there are any bullish or bearish signals. So in fact, right, for that reversal move that came in a couple of weeks back, we actually saw a bullish signal. Let me show you what I mean. So let me just remove all the drawing over here, and I'll just pull out this one good trend pro indicator. So in a matter of seconds, you can see I just click this box right over here, 1, 2, 3, pump, and there we go. You can see right behind, we can see a couple of bullish and bearish signals coming out on Nvidia. As you can see right over here, a very strong rally that was like in December 2023, and off we go all the way up. A bearish signal came down, 2 new bullish signal, and off we went, right? So for Nvidia, I would say that the longer term trend has been pretty strong since like 2023, 2024. Of course, somewhere around like end of 2024, just last year, we saw a bit of a profit taking, started to see a bit of a pullback due to rising tensions between US and China. So let's take a look at what has happened over the past few months. So you can see, right, somewhere around like October, a couple of months back, while we got 2 bullish signals to push up. But over the past like 6 months, since like end of 2024, maybe beginning of 2025, well, we actually had a couple of bearish, all right, 1GT. So 1GT stands for one good trend, right? If you see like a bearish signal coming out, then you might want to be careful. You don't want to just rush in to buy, because that's where you could be stuck, right? It could be trapped, and then it goes lower and lower if you get in. So when you see a bearish signal, it can guide you to maybe stop, just entering first, be a bit more patient, and try to time your entry as it goes lower first, and wait for what we call a reversal signal. So let's see whether that reversal signal has come. Well, it did come somewhere over here in like May, early of May, right over here. We got a 1GT bullish signal when it was about $110. And you could see that at that point in time, right, the short-term trend since January, right, based on this green line, was like down, 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 down. So, bearish signals plus the short-term trend turning down, you just want to be careful, right? You don't want to rush to get in, because it just looks weak. It might just go down and down and down. You never know where the bottom is. But once you see the green 20 days moving average line, right, kind of like turning up right over here, and then we get a 1GT bullish signal that points towards the reversal, that is a good sign, another confirmation that we are indeed hitting up. And you can see right over here, after this bullish signal, you can see that we have hit it up by about 29.9%, about 30% in about 3 weeks, all right, about 3 weeks, and it's still ongoing, it's still counting, all right. We may still hit even higher because this bullish signal still seems to be in play. So let's take a look at some of the resistance level whereby we may see some profit taking. So I think right over here, I think we can draw this resistance at about 150, 150. That's a psychological resistance level we have been trading below since November for more than 6 months. Now look at this arbitrage here. Couldn't get above, came back down. Same thing, we neared it. We went above it, but came back down. Same thing over here as well. So 4 or 5 times we attempted to go above the 150, but we couldn't. All right, we came back down. And of course, in February, trade tensions rose between US and China. All right, and we started pulling back all the way down. But right now, you can see we are very, very near, all right, this horizontal resistance at about 150 to maybe 155. So 150 to 155, this is what we call a sell zone, whereby we may see some profit. So the price is at about $142, which is pretty near the 150 to 155 level. So we're going to take some profit near 150 or 155. I think nothing wrong, because that's where we have seen massive selling previously and started to see a retracement. So you can lock in some profits. I think that's fine, all right. But what I'm looking at, is if we can actually break this 2 key resistance, or maybe this zone, right, from 150 to 155. So you can see, right, I've set some alerts right over here at about 153, 152, 154. So if we did break this 150, we stay above it, I think it could be really bullish. We may even see what we call a new 1GT bullish signal, and that could really lead the next phase of the upside that we have seen, that we have been kept below over the past 1 year. So for about a year, in fact, right over here, right, we got a bearish signal. That was in June 2024, so very near the 150 as well, like about 140 to 150. All right, we sold off, same thing. All right, we've got a bearish signal, sold off. So you can see 150 has been a very key level that we have been trading below for about a year or close to a year. So if we can break the 150, maybe a new 1GT bullish signal appears, that is where we could see more upside momentum. It could really be the start of even more momentum, all right? And this is where targets could be raised to even like 180 or maybe even to 200 level. So that is pretty much the first AI stock, right, that I'll share with you guys today, and that will be Nvidia, all right? NVDA, one of the most popular AI plays that I think a lot of people know about, but I hope you have a better picture of what it says on the chart, of course, based on my one good trend strategy. So if you want to find out, guys, a little bit more on the entire strategy, I don't have time to explain to you every day today, all right, but you want to find a bit more, attend more of those free webinars, the links right below the video, click on it, all right, and that's where I'll share with you guys a bit more on, how do we actually filter out stocks like this, and more importantly, know when to get in and get out on them, right? So the links below, click on it. I'll look forward to share with you guys more in this free webinar. So let's move on to the second AI stock for today, like share with you, and that will be none other than Meta Platforms, META. So Meta is also one of the AI plays, is spending billions of dollars. In fact, one of the biggest customers on Nvidia buying its GPU chips to build its AI data centers, right? So you see right here, tech stocks inch up as Meta reportedly nears multi-billion dollars AI investment. So there are still ongoing clouds, over like the tariffs and stuff. But many of these AI plays, they are still pretty strong, all right, and they are led by many of those AI stock news like Nvidia and Meta. So you can see that 2 days back, it was announced that Meta planned to invest about $15 billion into this startup Scale AI. So Meta is building a new super intelligence AI research lab, all right, a term for an AI system that will surpass the collective intelligence of humanity, and that will be headed by the founder of Scale AI, Alexander Wang. And this deal would bring Wang on board and would entail an investment into Scale AI totaling about $15 billion. So let's take a look at this news article, right? Majority of Meta stock analysts says buy, and Meta is still kind of like the leader in terms of the social media advertising space, and also one of the so-called Magnificent 7 stocks as well. So over like 71 stock analysts following Meta, 63 have a buy rating for now. So analysts are generally bullish because Meta is able to use AI to strengthen its hold on the digital advertising market. So digital advertising is still massively profitable for Meta, all right, reported about $69.3 billion in operating income for 2024. So Meta is like spending tens of billions of dollars on developing products and software to power Mark Zuckerberg's vision for the metaverse. So one of the products that Meta is looking to launch would be the Meta AI glasses. So this could be an entirely new product, like when Steve Jobs launched the iPhones many years ago, right? So more than 1 billion people wear glasses, like myself as well. And in the future, if AI is being able to be integrated into these glasses, it could be a huge market for Meta. So this is one of those growth stories that people are looking at for Meta as well. So that's it for Meta. Let's dive right into the charts of Meta Platforms, right? META, to see what is it saying, all right? Should we take some profit? What are some of the new targets? All right, so this is Meta Platforms right over here at about $694. So I would say that for Meta, it has been one of the very firm, slow and steady uptrending stock in the longer term since like 2023. And if you look at what we call the red line, this is the 100 days moving average, and the blue line is the 200 days moving average. You can see, right, somewhere around like April 2023, like it's more than 2 years back, right? The 100 days moving average red line has crossed above the blue line, and up to now, you can see the red line is above the blue. All right, and both of these two lines are pointing up. So since 2 years back, we have actually been in a very strong longer term uptrend. Whereas in the short term, I mean, we can also see weakness, and of course, we can take a look at the green 20 days moving average line for the short-term trends. You can see, right, it starts to come down. All right, so in the short-term trend, it can come down, but in a longer-term trend, it has been up for more than 2 years. So let's just zoom into what has happened over the past few months. So since the beginning of 2025, you can see, right, the green 20 days moving average line was going up, and we started to slope all the way down from February all the way to April, right, when there were some trade tensions between US and China, something like Nvidia. So the short-term trend was actually down, all right, and even though the longer-term trend was up. But somewhere around like April, well, finally we started to see the green 20 days moving average line point up. So the short-term trend turned up. Right now, it is still pretty much pointing up. So I think that both the short-term trend and the longer-term trend looks good for Meta right now. So let's take a look at what it says on my 1GT Pro indicator. So very quickly, I can go to turn it on over here, like what we have done for Nvidia. And let's take a look. So very quickly, you can see that, well, we actually have a couple of bullish and bearish signals. I'll not go too far, but again, somewhere over here. Oh, look at this, right? Pretty good bullish signals in November 2022, in March 2023, all the way up. A bearish signal, it starts to, a bit of selling, right? Few bullish signals, starts going up again. But let's just zoom in. This was in like August last year, a bullish, 4 bullish signals, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We started pushing up, I would say, by about 46% in about 5 months. All right, and plus we got bearish signals coming out. So when you see a bearish signal, you want to be careful. You don't want to rush. All right, you can see, it started to sell down from 720 all the way to 480. All right, when all these three bearish signals came out. But what happens, right? Since I would say early May, 2nd of May, well, finally we got a new one GT bullish signal. As I mentioned, the short-term trend started to turn up as well as another confirmation. So when this thing happened, right, a bullish signal, the short-term trend is up, the longer-term trend has been up already. I would say there's like 3 or 4 confirmations. And that's where, we started to see a pretty good reversal that has happened, right, from here all the way up to here. I would say about 25% in about 1 month plus, all right, and it still looks pretty good. Let's take a look at some of the resistance level for Meta. I would say that right now, we may see this resistance at about $750. So just write it down, I think 750, 740. That would be a very, very key resistance. That was pretty much where we were in February before we sold down, before the bearish signal actually came out. So we are very near now. It's like 694. It's about 50 to $60. Near the 750 resistance level. So I think if we can, near that 750 or maybe above 700, 720 as well, that's where you can lock in some profits. I think that's where some profit taking can come back again. We might see sellers coming back in again, like what we've seen somewhere in February. But I'm still pretty bullish on Meta. I think that if we can break the 750 level, the psychological resistance level, I think it will be a whole new phase. Same thing like Nvidia, same thing like for Meta. All right, we could see a lot of momentum. Targets could be revised all the way to 800, maybe to 850, maybe even to $1,000 as well, right? So that's a very key resistance level. What we could do is we set alerts right over here, like at 760, maybe at 755 as well. So when this price actually hits those levels, I'll be alerted. I will see if there's any, maybe even a new one good trend or one GT bullish signals coming out. That could be where we could even load up more positions, it might be a bit more aggressive, but that's where we could really see even more upside to the new targets. So this is it. I've covered Nvidia and Meta today. I hope you got a better idea of what are these two stocks doing on the charts, some of the key levels to take note of. And as I mentioned, you want to find out a little bit more on the entire one good trend strategy, can attend one of those free webinars that I'm still running. The link is right below the video. All right, find out how you can have this indicator, the 1GD Pro indicator as well, whereby on any stocks, any asset classes, you can turn it on and get an opinion in seconds based on the bullish or bearish signals that are shown. Alright, so Joby here. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.